Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Pranam, 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 pranam.
Namaskaram, Swami.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Kindly switch off the audios, please.
We will start with one video, email again. There is a prayer by a devotee. Oh Papa, so many devotees chanted your name constantly till the end of their lives, but I do not know how far they progressed. Some of them breathed their last with your name on their lips, making an attempt to reach out to you by the last prayer. They could, looking into all those, I stand no chance to see you in my heart, as I just started focusing on your impersonal bhava, hoping that you will at least make me utter a heartfelt chanting. When I am nearing my end, I continue to chant now. Now we are not concentrating more on the contents of the prayer. No? Each one can bring out their own prayer. What is important is we have now established a connection with Him through prayer and place ourselves totally. None of us need bother about what the contents are. Whatever that is prompted, you can say. Whether it is right or wrong from the intellectual standpoint, we are not at all worried, concerned about it. Whatever He prompts us from within to pray to Him, we pray. So this is the message He gives, today. Again we repeat, it is not what we pray is important. It is the relationship we establish by initiating a process of praying to Him. That gives us the closeness, the belongingness. And one more. Of course, it's about an incident. Somebody writes to another devotee after hearing the satsang on in-depth study of IQG, we should become sensitive to the demands and sufferings of others. This is one of the revelations that came from the in-depth study. So here, one person wrote, I am regularly attending satsang, it is working well, see for yourself. My grandson, aged 7, daily feeds 2 kittens with milk by pouring in a bowl. Since there is a holiday for 2 days, he was going out with his parents on a tour. So he told me, Tata, please for 2 days, you feed the kittens with milk. And he went with them out of station. Next day morning, I forgot to feed them. After a while, I could hear mew, mew, of the kittens. I opened the front doors. Both the kittens were looking into my eyes with mew. But I could feel the voice, not as mere mew. The voice from their inner life force, telling me lovingly that we are hungry, give us milk. Suddenly my inner voice rose, prompted me to feed them lovingly with milk. A sense of divinity in the whole atmosphere could be felt. This incident may be small, but the background aura of satsang and IQG give me a divine presence. This is what the devotee narrated. Slowly it percolates. Okay. Anything else?
I have a question. When we become aware of the suffering of others, how do we remain unaffected by it?
How?
When we
Do
feel
we
so
remain
strong-
unaffected by it?
No,
we feel so strongly the suffering of others.
Suffering of others. Actually, suffering is going on everywhere, but God makes us to observe certain things. God makes us to come to know of certain things. We should be thankful to Him for having given us an opportunity to serve them, to help them, morally, materially. Every time we may not be able to reach out. Every time we may not be able to extend material help, but we can certainly pray from the bottom of the heart for the redressal, for the amelioration of the situation. So nothing need be discarded. We don't have to be indifferent. That is why God has given us this field for service is not created by us. Field for service He gives us to know whether we respond to it or not. We still remember one incident in Hyderabad, when we were going about 15-20 years back to Hyderabad, we were having some sessions with the teachers. So the same question was asked when we hear the ambulance sound, a patient is taken in a critical condition. So one teacher stood up, what can we do? Then another teacher rose up and said, we can pray. We can pray from the bottom of the heart to the deity we have in our heart or the Mahatma we have in our heart. Please relieve him from the sufferings in whatever way you choose. That means that the field has been provided and we have made use of it. As you said, we may not be able to stop, we may not be able to give anything materially, but we can mentally associate ourselves and to try to become one with them. Especially for a devotee or a spiritual aspirant, God will test us by observing or by keenly observing. Suppose you are on your way to the office, you are already late. Somebody comes there and says, I have not eaten for 2 days. He looks totally emaciated. What do? Even when you are late for the office, not that you do it by hearing all these things. Spontaneously you will rush to the kitchen and bring something to him. Failing which you will ask somebody, immediately attend to him and give him something.
Or you can give your own lunchbox.
Something will take place. Because we are now conscious that the field for seva is not provided by us. Field for seva is provided by Him. So we should be sensitive. We should be sensitive to the demands and suffering of the co-creations, not merely individuals. There have been many.
We must stay peaceful and have faith that our prayer is
We should
effective.
stay
We can't
peaceful.
help.
We should stay peaceful and pray.
Spontaneous, it will come spontaneously. We don't have to prepare. The moment we have acknowledged that it is a field provided to me, the response comes spontaneously. Intellect has no job there. It's a question of feelings. So the joy you get after that, or the peace you get after that is inexplicable. As if it may be a tiny little act of service, but it will give us untold joy. One kitten was trying to cross the road. Every time it starts one vehicle sound, again it goes back. Again it tries. But one person who was driving the car, he was watching this from a distance. So he stopped the car. Naturally, when he stopped the car, all other vehicles had to stop. The kitten crossed the road and he took. It might be a simple act. He may not even know that the field has been provided by God. But whether he knows it or not, that is the truth. No? He could have also spelled, no? But he did not do that. Everybody is basically good and noble. But this goodness and nobility has to be touched and kindled by somebody. No? When a calamity comes, I was just sharing before we came, no? In 71 war, Bangladesh war. It was going on. We were working in an estate, coffee estate. So it struck to us that we will place it before our laborers also. So the staff, supervisory staff and laborers, they will all assemble for the roll call at 7:30 in the morning. There must be about more than 100 people, laborers, before they are detailed to different types of work. So we went and addressed them and told them the country is engaged in a war now. What is it that we are prompted to do? Spontaneously the laborers says, 1 day's wages is straight away sent. And anything else later. On those days the wages were 3 rupees per day. I'm talking about 50 years back. And then more than 3,500 rupees, it will be there. Apart from our estate management's quota, this was taken as a separate draft. And then we went to the collector in Calicut. On those days there was, Wayanad was a taluk. And so we had to go to the collector. We met the collector. And we told him this is the contribution of our workers. We are not worried about the management's quota, that you can take it. But this, kindly acknowledge it. He immediately said, why not? Each and every rupee, it is not the quantity that it matters. It is the mental involvement of as many as people that is needed. And next day when in the paper when it came, such and such an estate employees have contributed so much, it was read out. They did not expect, They were happy. But they did not expect anything, Field is provided, we have to respond to the field. Spontaneous. Not that we have to give a lecture. Everybody as a citizen of India, when our mother country is involved in a war, naturally there will be a lot of requirements, and even the country was not in a condition like this, what we have now. We were having acute food shortage also. So many things. But we still remember spontaneity. There is no intellect. The play of intellect is not there. The play of intellect is not there. Only the So what is needed is this. Responding to the needs and sufferings. These are all the yardstick, whether we are moving towards Him. Papa puts it like, from the individual to the universal. When he says so, universal means towards Him. From me to we, or we to Him. So 3 rupees was the wages of that, and 3 rupees is a big amount for them. 50 years back, it was a big amount for them. But even then, nobody thought for a while. They said 1 day, and if anything else is required, that also we can give it later. So responding to the situation, So these are all some of the tests he gives to Certain things we knowingly do it, certain things we spontaneously do it and forget about it. That's why right from day one, Papa Mataji gave a lot of importance for the seva aspect in this ashram. Even when ashram was finding it extremely difficult to make both ends meet. Because Mataji's budget is always, the expenditure will be like this, and the income will be like this. But Mataji is not bothered. Mataji will take something from somebody else and meet the requirement, and that somebody will be given by somebody will be given by somebody, and ultimately somebody will come and square it off. So to her, responding to the situation is important. Of course, that was on to a different level because of ananyatva, absence of otherness. There is no otherness for her. So that means the seva becomes spontaneous. For people like us, we have to often remember this so that we don't cage ourselves with in the prison of me and mine. Yes, anything else?
Can you explain on Jnanottara Bhakti?
Jnanottara Bhakti.
Jnanottara Bhakti. Why Papa's approach to spirituality can be put as Jnanottara Bhakti. By reflective, contemplative, meditative approach, we come to realize the presence of Ram within us and later on in everybody. The moment we realize within him the impersonal aspect, that we can term it as path of knowledge. I have a body, I am not the body. Though he may not be quoting Upanishads or Shastras, initial stages it was purely the path of knowledge. As we have seen in the first article of In Quest of God, when he introduces the word Ram, it stands purely for the impersonal, Nirguna. You remember Mataji saying that when I ask you to read 11 times, then only you will be initiated into the person of the Nirguna aspect of God. She said, then only by the 11th, you would have trained yourself to go inward. So inward journey means it is nothing but path of knowledge, jnana. But the moment we start moving toward that, there is a risk involved that we will be unknowingly feeling that what we see outside, the Jagat, we will not be giving the due importance for the Jagat. Though nobody will be able to be in the contemplative mood forever during their waking time, still the impact of it will remain with them. With the result, they will say, Jagat Mithya. So they may become indifferent. And they will not enjoy. So in order that we equally recognize the creation as a part of the Creator, Papa beautifully brought it as the indwelling Almighty has come in this form. So that means bhakti, dualism is there, creation and the Creator. When we go to the source of all sources, it is only one. But after the jnana, this is the word I think that is the word he used. After the jnana, After the jnana comes bhakti. Because this bhakti is not centered on a particular deity. This is not centered on a particular deity. Normally when we say bhakti, it will be centered on a particular deity. Krishna bhakti, Rama bhakti, Devi bhakti, you know. So it will be concentrated. And we will also be deriving joy. But the only risk is we localize. Unless and until we make an effort, we will not be able to see the same Krishna in everybody, the same Rama in everybody, the same Devi in everybody. So when we go to the temple, we will leave them there and come back. But here, no. When somebody asked Papa, why when you are chanting Ram Nam, there is no idol of Sri Ramachandra Murthy, then spontaneously Papa said, everybody is a moving Ramachandra Murthy, you know. So there doesn't have to be a particular Murti here. Because later on he will also say that this will unknowingly, because we don't have that background. Even now we are all committing the same mistake by limiting Papa to this Papa's form. Mataji to Mataji's form. Because he has clearly mentioned, you have put Papa Mataji in a frame. You have put Papa Mataji in a frame, whereas Papa Mataji is in everybody's heart. Immediately we need not think Papa Mataji is in that form. Papa Mataji is in everybody's heart, God is in everybody's heart, you are in everybody's heart. So that which is in Papa Mataji is in you also. This is how Papa looks at it.
Swamiji, when the ticket collector asked Papa, where is God? I can see him in you, he says. The TC, just like us, took it lightly.
Took it lightly.
Ne?
Took it lightly.
Reply. They say God is everywhere, then where is the fun in if you are knocking about in search of Him? While He is at the very place from which you started. Papa replied, right brother, God is everywhere. But He wants to have this fact actually proved by going to all places and realizing His presence everywhere. So this is called bhakti.
My question is, why do we don't take it seriously?
Why do we don't take it seriously?
Because our me and mine is very strong, you know. He has not accepted it. We have only heard it. We have only heard it. Unless it is backed up by intense manana. First of all, we have to realize Him within. Then only we will be able to realize Him in others. The absence of otherness is the outcome of that. So first we have to realize Him within. That is why Papa says reflective, meditative, contemplative approach should be there. We are just floating on the surface, you know. Though we say Ram Nam with all good intentions, with bhakti, with faith, still there is no effort on our part to identify Him in our heart. We still feel we are chanting, you know. We have been asked to chant, we are chanting. That is why Papa wants us to add this while chanting, that we are chanting the name of one who is within us and who is making me to chant. That making me to chant is impersonal aspect, nirguna. And then when I am there, I am got saguna. So the nirguna encased in saguna. So when we come down to the saguna aspect with the same God dimension, it is called bhakti. In the nirguna aspect, it is called jnana. This is how Papa approaches. It is left to every one of us to choose any path. So
Swamiji, the last bit, will you please explain again that you said when it is jnana and when it is bhakti?
Jnana, first jnana, that means by going within. How does this word come? Where from this word come? When I go deep down, when the mind refuses to go within, with the help of Ramnam, I try to go within. And then all thoughts cease. Complete stillness, peace is felt. Then I get a glimpse of my original nature. Then my effort is to get stabilized in it, at the same time retaining the sense of individuality with body, mind, intellect, where thoughts are also there. Previously we were feeling that everything starts from the thought. Just like when we get up in the morning, we are from the sleep state or dream state to the wakeful state. Then the thought has become active, and the thought is governing us. Thought is propelling us, guiding us, forcing us, motivating us. So we start everything from the thought level. Now, when we have been blessed with the effort to go within, and when we are blessed with a glimpse of our original, our core of our being, which is past thoughts, which is beyond thoughts. And when we come back, we find that Nirguna Tattva is encased in all the creation. So the first one we can take it as the path of knowledge, and the second one path of bhakti. That is why he keeps on telling, though Ramdas and Ram are one, Ramdas would always like to play the part of a child or a servant of Ram. So jnana and bhakti intertwined. So here bhakti is not centered on a particular form. We cannot say that is wrong or right. Even there are many who have, through the form, they have scaled the heights. Papa did not belittle the importance of it at all. But that was his path. He placed it before us. And when we think about it, we know we have visited so many places of worship. And what happened to us? We left the deity there and came back. Shirdi Baba, suppose, is our chosen deity. We take all the pains to go to Shirdi, stand there in the long queue, have his darshan, take prasad, everything, and come back. But we hardly realize that Baba is with us throughout. When somebody asks, we say, yes, I had darshan of Baba in Shirdi. This is how we say. That means the personal aspect is whenever we are concentrating on the personal aspect, the risk is there, because we are not full-timers. Whereas Bhaktotamas, they were full-timers, so to them, the deity has been there for 24/7. So Papa's method is this. That is why he was not, and that is why Mataji also, in order that we understand this, she said after Papa dropped the body, that the Homa Mandir, when we call it a Samadhi Mandir of Papa, it will not have any images, it will not have any rituals. That is the place where we try to connect ourselves with the cosmic Papa, cosmic reality. It is all path of knowledge. And Mataji used to take us. Half an hour we all spend there. And then there won't be anything. Even now when you go to Papa Samadhi, there is a board there. What had appeared in September 1963. Papa dropped the body in July. On those days, 2 months ahead we had to prepare the manuscript of Vision. So it came only in September. In September she has made it very, very clear about how we should make use of the Samadhi Mandir. Then she specifically said, there shall not be any image, there shall not be any rituals performed.
Yes, Swamiji, on the left side.
But we couldn't do it. Later on, God changed. And we are now having photos, offering arati, everything is going on. That is also probably his wish. So the idea is, that is why in this room there is no photo. At least there should be one in the ashram where we don't have any photos, not relying on photos. Because when the moment we close our eyes and think about Papa, Papa is there, Mataji is there, Mahatmas are there, and then somebody is watching all these things. So then we suddenly come to know the watching entity has no photo, no image. So we try to connect up.
Swamiji, the watching entity is the same in all.
Watching entity is the same in all, which has no name and form. The watching entity is witnessing Ramnam. Watching entity is witnessing all our thoughts. Watching entity is becoming aware of everything that is going on. So that is how we step up, our efforts to move towards the core of our being. Papa wanted every one of us to reach that stage. He specifically mentioned about this process. Unfortunately, he did not make us to concentrate upon it. Probably we cannot understand all those things. We have read this many a time, but still we will again read. Repetition, that will help us. In the spiritual journey, going inward is a must. When we sit silently, we have to be conscious in the first place that God we seek is in our own heart. We were talking about jnana, no? We are trying to understand jnana tara bhakti. So you see what he has done. So he is step by step he is asking us to do. When we sit silently, we have to be conscious in the first place that the God that we seek is in our own heart. Then mentally repeat his name. Make the mind repeat the name until all its waves cease and it becomes perfectly still. If it does not easily become still, we have to continue the repetition of the name mentally with an attitude of self-surrender. We try to develop witness consciousness. Witness consciousness is a state of awareness of the immortal and radiant truth within us. Witness consciousness is a state of awareness of the immortal and radiant truth within us. In fact, this awareness itself is God realization. So all our rituals, all the images, all symbols, God made us to get in touch with, God made us to enjoy. But when we come back and sit in our room or in a solitary place, we can bring them all. We realize you are there in so many forms, and you are now witnessing your own forms. That witness, Sakshi Bhav. So this is what Puja Mataji wanted all of us to have a glimpse when we go to Homa Mandir. Doesn't matter, God made us to change, put their papas. Till 88, many of you might remember who have been coming here, there was no photo at all. There was no activity at all as such. Some devotee will open and keep the door open from morning till night. Devotees will come there, they will do pradakshina, somebody may sit there, somebody may silently watch, read, somebody may close their eyes and try to go inward in their own way. That's all. It's a calm, quiet, serene place. Because chanting was going on during the specified time in Bhajan Hall. That was the only place where Nama was going on. Arati, everything. So during anybody who wants, we were never asked to go and sit there. But those who are prompted from within, they will go and sit. They will come to know. So that means Mataji also wanted all of us to simultaneously practice this. Unfortunately, none of us took it seriously. Or putting it another word, Papa did not feel fit that we can understand all those things, so he did not give us the prompting. At least now, forget about what had happened. Now these words are very clear. When we sit silently, we have to be conscious in the first place that the God we seek is in our own heart. Then mentally repeat His name. Make the mind repeat the name until all its waves cease. If it does not easily become still, we have to continue the repetition of the name mentally with an attitude of self-surrender. We try to develop witness consciousness. Witness consciousness is a state of awareness of the immortal and radiant truth within us. In fact, this awareness itself is God realization. While giving us 3-4 types of chanting, the fourth type also he mentions about this witness. The first way is chanting the name aloud, vocal. When the sound attracts the mind through the ears, the mind is absorbed in it so much so, the dissimilar thought currents fade away. The second way is to bear in your bosom the form of your own chosen deity or guru who has awakened you and repeat the mantra. By this the mind ceases to wander. Any method we can use. The third method is to identify every object on your mind, on which your mind dwells, with God. Through this, we try to go to the source of these objects. By reflection, we find that everything has sprung from that source alone. Fourth method is to be the witness of the mind. By watching the mind, we detach ourselves from the mind and become a witness of the mind. As we begin to watch the mind, it will gradually cease to be. The witness or awareness alone remains. So these are all the path of knowledge, Sarvadi Sakshi Bhudam.
Swamiji, this is the same as Vaikhari Madhyama Parapashyanti.
Same.
Parapashyanti, same thing.
Names are in Sanskrit.
So another question, Swamiji. When I am saying I am sitting for meditation, but my mind is restless, that means there is something watching and telling me that your mind is restless.
Exactly. The very fact that you know that the mind is restless, it is because of the witness consciousness. So turn our attention to that witness consciousness. How it can be done? We have to try various methods.
Swamiji,
A soothing bhajan, yes?
when there is silence, when there's no thoughts, I find it, there's no emotions, there's no joy, there's nothing. There's nothing. Will eventually the bliss rise up through that silence?
It is something like, you are trying to define about the emptiness. What is emptiness? When the pairs of opposite dualism is not there in the present, what do you experience? That experience, we call it as bliss. Nobody will be able to explain bliss. Some clue Papa has given, it is objectless happiness. It is not a happiness based upon or dependent upon any object, any person, any situation. Beyond that we cannot explain. And if we see there is, we enjoy a pause moment where there are no thoughts. It cannot be explained, nor do we try to put it in words. We want to somehow quieten the mind. That means to still the mind. And what happens next is the outcome, Whether it is the play of the mind, yes, you can. How do we know? That the one which we have tasted will ever be with us. Though not in a grosser form, it will be there in a subtle form. The other one will not. It will come and go. So if the mind has matured, if the mind has attained that purity, with the help of Ramnam, when all thoughts are arrested, when the witness consciousness prevails, nobody will be able to define it in the knowable vocabulary. Because that is a state which cannot be explained, but at the same time, the experience will be there. The experience will be felt. We need not now break our head to know what is that. Let us be on the process and see the outcome and enjoy the outcome by ourselves.
The comfort of the mind, mental comfort. Please. Can we call it? Swamiji.
No.
We are trying to define something that cannot be defined.
Correct. we were still doing some research on how Papa got the word great void,
Great.
So many explanations started coming that it could be from Yoga Vasishtha. It could also be one when he was pursuing through Lord Buddha's teachings. Lord Buddha gave a lot of importance to the word shunyata. What is shunyata? Void, So still, some we were able to locate now. When you come to realize the truth, it is neither one nor two. It is emptiness. Now you can understand why they say shunyata or emptiness. That means the duality is not there. Duality means the mind is not there. Only when the mind is there, the duality comes. The mind means thought. Thought flow is called the mind. So when the thought is not there, it will not give any color. This coloring of the mind is called the dual. So that is not there. What is that state? How can we say that? So one we can say shunyata.
Vijay, why is it called Mahashunya?
Suppose we say shunyata means, nihilism. There is nothing. But nothingness is fullness. So they put a word great void. It is not void as such. It is fullness. Emptiness in the sense empty of all the knowables.
So you want to stay in that state for longer.
This is the peace of Buddha, the total silence. Because there is nothing to achieve, no one to achieve, nowhere to go, no one to go. Beautiful. Because there is nothing to achieve, no one to achieve, nowhere to go, no one to go. Everything empty. Suddenly the whole striving disappears. You are not going anywhere. You start laughing. You start enjoying this emptiness. Then there is no barrier to your enjoyment. Then the bliss goes on falling on you. So like that, when the path of knowledge, when he tries to delve deeper, that is why he is reflective, contemplative, meditative. Intense manana was done by Papa. Otherwise it was difficult, Through intense manana, the mind became still, had a glimpse of the original, then he came back to the sense of individuality level, mind level, and the mind was dwelling on it, and then he saw the entire creation. The creation was nothing but a form of that. He called it as a light, That awareness, he called it as light. When he had the first experience of that, this was the first time he was taken by Ram into solitude for his bhajan. Now he felt most blissful sensations since he could hold undisturbed communion with Ram. He was actually rolling in a sea of indescribable happiness. These are all the words, To fix the mind on that fountain of bliss, Ram, means to experience pure joy. Once during the day, when he was lost in the madness of Ram's meditation, when he was lost means the sense of individuality is not there. He came out of the cave, found a man standing a little away from the mouth of the cave. Unconsciously he ran up to him, locked him up in a fast embrace. This action on the part of Ramdas has thoroughly frightened the friend who thought it was a madman. It was true, he was mad. He was mad of Ram, but it was a harmless madness. The irresistible attraction felt by him toward this friend was due to the perception of Ram in him. O Ram, thou art come, thou art come. With this thought, Ramdas had run up to him. At times he would feel driven to clasp in his arms the very trees and plants growing in the vicinity. Ram was attracting him from all directions. Oh, the mad and loving attraction of Ram. Oh, Ram, thou art love, light and bliss. Thus passed his days in the cave.
Swamiji?
So his level of, it is very difficult to express, you know. So we all try for that, and the outcome will make us aware, no? If we try to put it in the words we know, in that intellectual exercise, probably we may miss the charm of it.
Swamiji, Papa remained in this non-dual state even in waking hours. It is not that he had to sit for meditation to be in that non-dual or non-differentiating state. But we have to try to understand that. That is our condition.
Employ any method, no? He has given out his experience. Employ any method. Now we know what is to be attained, just to become aware of his presence. If that is clear, what method we use purely depends upon our own constitution of the mind and body. He has given us the clue. So the question was about Jnanottara Bhakti. So this is why he said Jnana takes us to this stage and then Bhakti takes it forward. So that that blissful state is there even when we open our eyes. Saguna and Nirguna becomes relevant. Everything is relevant. The final stage of seeing him everywhere. So on our part, this should be very clear, no? We are chanting Ram Nam. I was searching for that. I couldn't locate. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we'll try. The Haridas Giri Swami Maharaj, you know, he was telling in one of his discourses about what should be the background while we chant Ram Nam. Very, very, because we can combine this, you know, jnana and bhakti there completely. And what happens to me while chanting? Our mind again withdraws to the me and mine. And then finally pleads to the Lord seated within. At the time of my leaving, you must come. Lift me up, hold my hand, and take me unto yourself. We have translated also and kept it, but today we were not able to locate it. Day after tomorrow, we will try to locate it. Anyway, so today it has been very lively in the sense we get more and more clarity on jnana bhakti. We get more clarity on witness consciousness. We get more clarity on the saguna and nirguna aspect. At the same time, not belittling the importance of anything. Everything is relevant. Everything is to be recognized. So let not our intellect say no or yes to anything. But at the same time, we will pursue whatever he prompts us from within and try to go further. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, Swamiji. Very, very good.
Very good.
Yes, higher thraldom of divinity. I think very higher thraldom of divinity.
Okay. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. when we sing in this tune, we are bringing before us the form of our Guru or our Ishtadevata, and then we are praying to him. You are there, you are here inside and outside. Enable me to always dwell on that. That's all. I am not asking anything. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Namaskar.
Pranam, Namaskar.